All right, guys, welcome to episode 22 of the Different Animals podcast. It's your boy Tyler.
And I'm Ever Castro.
And today we're going to be talking about what we've been watching. We're going to talk about some movie news, Microsoft buying Bethesda, and possibly some sports talk. But first, okay, let's start with what we've been watching.
Yes.
So what have you been up to?
Yeah, so I finished Little Fires Everywhere, which was that short series I mentioned last week with Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington. And the finale was good. It was solid. It felt a lot like how I felt during Watchmen or how I felt during, God, what was the other series that I really liked? It was a short series. I don't remember, but it was like where the finale just like, I guess it was Normal People, where like the finale just like ends, but it was like solid. It didn't blow my mind. Like I wasn't like, holy shit, what an ending, like for something like Chernobyl was last year. But it was good. I liked it. It was sort of a continuation of what I talked about in terms of like, good characters, good tension between like plot points and stuff. I will say, in the very last episode, I won't get into specifics in case somebody wants to watch it, but the end finishes or ends on a sort of like a similar way as Normal People, where the plot wanted them to get somewhere and they weren't there naturally, so it sort of forces them, and you kind of go like, I get it, but like that was a bit of an overreaction kind of thing, right?
Right.
But other than that last episode, it was good. I recommend it. It was enjoyable. It got some good ideas, some thought provoking storylines, which I actually heard that most of the thought provoking stuff that I thought was really interesting, that I have had a lot of discussions with people who have seen the show. Most of those plot lines are different they're not in the book. So I was like, oh shit. Like I was talking to somebody who had read the book and she'd watched the show, and I'd be like, wow, can you believe like this happened? And she'd be like, oh yeah, and by the way, that's not in the book. Or I'd be like, oh, like man, that contention between this character and that character. And she'd be like, oh yeah, that character isn't this or that in the book. And I was like, well, what the fuck does the book
Yeah, what
have?
the fuck is the book about?
Yeah, exactly. Like then
The book's just a series of events.
it's just like this happened and this happened. I was like, that makes me not want to read the book like ever. But yeah, I recommend it. I finished it up and it was pretty good. Yeah.
All right, I finished up season 1 of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Sweet. Yes. I like the finale with the attack on the North Pole.
Yes. So here's the deal. Like, I know we generally try and avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
But like, I've been watching this extremely slow, and like we've talked about it for a hot minute, and it's also been out for years. So
Yeah.
at this point, I'm gonna say fuck it, and I'm gonna just talk about it.
And it's been out on Netflix since May. Like, I think May
Yeah,
15th.
exactly. So my man's came through with the fucking. First of all, my man karate chopped the shit out of that fish, dog. He drops that fish in there, and it's fucking wham, like he's trying to chop a fucking brick in half. And then Aang loses his fucking mind, bro.
And it becomes that like giant fish thing. Just like,
Yeah, that's just like fucking knocking people. Yeah, just like blowing shit up. Zuko has the cool fight with Zhao, which is his. Are they related? No.
See, I don't remember. You mentioned that in an episode, and then I was listening to the episode back, and I was like, I meant to look that up after we recorded that because I don't remember. I don't think they are. I think it's just
you're
like
right. I don't
a
think they are.
high-ranking military dude.
Yeah, that's been around for a long time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Probably just close to the family because he is high ranking.
Yeah.
So that happened. Yeah, nah, that was intense. Like, I remember I was like, I don't know if the action's gonna pick up. I feel like it has to, but there's not a lot. Action picked up, dog. My man's out here just fucking water bitch slapping people off the fucking ice, just like launching them.
Yeah, and I liked it's sort of like for most of the first season, I liked Sokka just okay. I was like, he's okay. Like he's just
Yeah.
like one of the little side characters. But I really liked the little the arc that they gave him in that finale, and it's sort of like when I watched it, I was like, okay, he's destined for something better than what I thought they were. I thought he was gonna be just like like a Krillin, like just like a
Yeah.
shitty sidekick that I never end up giving a fuck about.
Yo,
Um,
Krillin. The difference is Krillin fucking dies in every saga in Dragon Ball because like the. I'm trying to think. I mean, I didn't watch Dragon Ball, so I don't like really
Me
remember
neither.
much
Yep.
about like Piccolo or anything. But Dragon Ball Z, I guess I don't know that he dies in the Saiyan saga. I really just can't remember. It wouldn't surprise me at all though if he
Yeah.
died. Um, Frieza cuts that man in half, bro,
Yes.
and that shit. I've never. What's funny is it's like I feel like maybe a little devastating as a kid when he gets cut in half, but as an adult, like
Especially when
Frieza's
you know
just
what's
like,
coming afterward.
right, and Frieza's just shitting on everybody left and right. And Krillin's like, Destructo Disc. And I'm like, get this fucking plate out of here, dog. Like, and fucking Frieza's like, nope. Fucking sends that shit back. But yeah, no. And then he dies and sells. The man dies every single fucking time.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, this is what
Because he's
Sokka's
always,
destined for.
it's like, he's the little kid just meddling in grown folks' business. You know what I mean? Like,
And he
like,
gets
at
a
some point-
girlfriend, and he's like, oh, and then his girlfriend gets sucked up by a parasite alien thing.
that parasite alien thing kills him. I just don't like. At some point, realistically, in Dragon Ball Z, like Goku or Piccolo or any of the people around them should have told like him, Yamcha, and like Tien, like y'all should probably just hang the fuck back. Like
It's like,
all
you
you
guys
guys
aren't the
do is
main
come in here and get your
character.
ass beat. Like, like you have never ever been important to anything happening.
They always end up like fucking Mojo Jojo with his brain oozing out of his
Yeah,
helmet.
out of his helmet. His fucking eyeball hanging out and tongue going in an opposite direction. Yeah, that's them every single fucking time. So at some point, like after you got wished back for the third time with the fucking Dragon Balls, they should have been like, hey, I know you want to help, but I'm gonna need you to stay your ass at home. Because if we fuck up and don't get these Dragon Balls, you died for no reason. So, but yes, they did give Sokka a little arc. I kind of, I don't know, like that. It's weird because it's almost a necessity of the show. I feel like because so much of it is just like little stories along the way, while also, you know what I mean? Like none of the events that you really go through are like super tied to the like. If the Fire Nation's not directly involved, really nothing that happened mattered. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like even the training, like the training feels a little iffy to me because one thing I will say is I feel like Katara is like random. That's her name, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Katara.
randomly like all of a sudden like an amazing waterbender. Like the season starts and she's like trying to pull a fish out of the like
Right.
with water.
Practicing. Yeah.
Right. By the end of season 1, with no water trainer, water bender around, she goes toe to toe with like the head trainer of the North Pole Water Tribe, like to determine that like she should be allowed to bend even though she's a girl. And
I
it's like,
just
where did
always-
this happen?
Yeah. I just always assumed, I was like, I guess that they, all the like their adventures, like we see them over 22 episodes, but that shit happened over like months. That's what I always took it, and that
That-
she was just practicing.
That doesn't really work though because the Avatar vision is that he has to like. The comet's coming at the end of summer, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah. I forgot about the comet
You have to
being
do
that
this
early.
before the comet gets here. So like that's an issue. But like my other problem though is that like by that same logic, it's not like Aang, but like all of a sudden at the end of the North Pole, he's like, Katara, you train Aang to be the best waterbender. I'm like, they basically had the same fucking starting point. As a matter of fact, like 5 episodes ago, Katara got pissed off because Aang was waterbending everything better than she was.
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
Maybe they were like, we got 30 episodes, and then Nickelodeon was like, actually, you got 20. It's like, shit.
Either way, like those are like small things that I just like. I'm like, what happened? But like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And the another thing is at the end of season 1, the Sokka and the princess thing happens real fucking quick. To be serious,
What's her name? Azuli or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, but I think that, like, I just thought it was so well done that I was like, oh, it's like it's like a crush, but it happens so fast. It's like for me, it was like a Romeo and Juliet type thing, where it's like it just happens so fast and they just click that I'm willing to forgive it because they're young and
Yeah.
it's like you'll like.
Yeah, and I'm willing to look past it, but like there was still a part of me that was like that was
Damn, that
kind
was
of quick.
fast.
He
Wasn't he
sees it the
betrothed?
first time. Yeah, no, he sees it the first time, right? And then the second time, he like asks her out, and she says, "Okay." When they meet that night, she's like, "I'm married," and I'm like, "What? What the fuck just happened, bro? Like, y'all haven't even spoke." She's like, "I can't. I'm married." Like, but or soon to be married.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that was just that caught me off guard. But everything has been going really well. I do like all the characters. Um, they do
And
a
then
good. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and you should have met my favorite villain. I think I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. I was like, my favorite villain shows up at the end of season 1, and it's Azula.
Oh, for like one split second.
Yes.
At the very end, where he's like,
Yes.
Zuko's dad's like, "He's a bitch. I need
he's
you
like,
to handle."
yeah, we need backup here.
And
like,
it's
fuck,
it's
yeah.
his sister.
Yeah.
What's funny is like, I feel like there's a line, maybe in literally the last episode or the episode before the last one, where he mentions his sister, and I'm like, I swear that's the first time he's talked about his sister.
Mhm.
Like I don't think he even remotely says he has a sister until like either the episode before or the season finale.
The season finale. Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
like I legitimately in my head was like, did they know that the whole time? Or were they like did they get like halfway through the season and they're like, hold on. Where's
We need
this
a
going?
sister. We need
a
a-
sister.
we can't-
And-
we can't
right.
bring out the Fire Lord just yet. We need to.
Yes. This is moving in kind of quick. Yeah. But and I've seen 2 episodes into season 2
Mhm.
and I feel like I picked up by osmosis before I started watching at some point that like lightning bending is a real fucking big deal. And she like the very first time you see her, she's like, "I'm shoot lightning out my fingertips." And
Oh
I was
yeah,
like,
that
"Oh,
crack-
that's
yeah.
yeah." I was like, "That's
That blue lightning. That's fucking sweet. Yeah.
yeah, that's next level fire right there."
Mhm.
But yeah, everything seems super dope. I'm definitely still into it. I haven't had anything to really complain about. The beginning of season 1, there's a trope that I feel like I've seen. Maybe trope's not the right word. But like there's an event that happens, and I feel like I've seen it in like every movie ever, and somehow like I can't name any of the movies it's been in.
What is?
But the Earth guy like tries to get Aang into the Avatar state, and like
Oh,
he
yeah, like, kidnaps-
like fake kills Katara and then pulls her up, and he's like, "You're in the Avatar state, everything's fine." And I was like, "That's not how this is gonna work." And he just
Yeah,
fucking
I know what you mean.
blows
It's
up
like-
the city. Like
I feel like it's in superhero movies. I mean, in the show that I'm about to talk about in a little bit, it actually happens too, where like somebody will be like, "Oh, if you can do this, you can do it. Like, show me," that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they try to harness the power that's like forbidden power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then it immediately backfires.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. 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 I mean, even like Dragon Ball Z a little bit with Vegeta letting Cell take the androids
Oh
and
yeah,
being
yeah.
like, "You're not strong enough. Take the next one, so you can be as strong as me." And then it backfires because he ends up being stronger than Vegeta.
Yeah, I hate that's the bro. Every time Goku gives a villain a sensu bean in Dragon Ball Z, I want to shoot myself in the face. Like,
It's about
he's like,
honor.
"Hey, you're almost dead. Here, have a sensu bean." It's like, why did we do this? Like, I understand you like to fight, but this man's about to destroy the Earth. Maybe you should take that up some other time.
Krillin's about to die, for the love of God. Think of Krillin.
Yo, Krillin will have already died to the villain. He's like, have a sensu bean. I was like, you just killed your boy. What happened? Oh God. But yeah, so I'm definitely into the rest of season 2. I saw somebody tweet. They're like, "What's?" There was a tweet that was like, "Name a character or show where they introduced a character like mid either season or mid story, like overall show." And,
Oh, like after
it
season 1?
yeah, something like that, and it immediately got better. And someone posted the picture of like her looking up at the end of season 1. And
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, "Oh, okay, so this is gonna be great."
Yeah. Yes, Azula's great. Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, she. Well, I won't say anything, but yeah, she's great, and she's. I guess we can talk about that too in a little bit if you want. I had a couple of examples for that one.
okay.
But we can talk about it after, as we wrap up what we've been watching. But yeah, anything else on Avatar on the first season?
Nah. I mean, it was really solid. Anybody that's on the fence, if I didn't just spoil everything for you, I mean, I'm really only at the end of season 1, so definitely go watch it though.
Yeah, definitely do. And so, yeah, so I also started The Boys season 2, and this is on Amazon Prime. And I don't remember if I've talked about it on here. I think we started the podcast after I had watched the first season.
Yeah, I don't think we watched it, but I think you did mention it because I was talking about like superheroes or like them having to just forget about certain heroes' abilities and like what they can do. And then you mentioned like the boys version of the Flash at one point. It's just like runs through someone and turns them into red mist.
Yes, that was it. Yep. That was it. Yeah. And so I started season 2, and it's great. It's just as good as season 1. It's still just I only got I think 3 or 4 episodes in, which I think is already half the season. But so far, I mean, the wheels are turning and the plot's going, and I really like it. They added a character named Stormfront, which ends up being one of the main superheroes, and she's been a great addition. She plays I guess she ends up being a villain, but the whole show is about like fucking villains.
Right. The whole thing is that like superheroes are terrible.
Yeah.
So
And to paraphrase something that someone else on a podcast said, they said, the great thing about The Boys, or like something that's fun, is that every time you watch it, you end up seeing something truly horrific, or something that's like, Jesus Christ, like I can't believe they did that. Not in like a depressing way, but just in like a my God kind of way.
right.
But it's good, and I mean the main villain is great, and so I'm really enjoying it. I should have it wrapped up by the next time we record. So I'm very excited because every time I talk about it or I tweet about it or whatever, I always get responses like, whoa, like this season's crazy, or like, man, you won't believe what's going to happen in the latest episode. So it kind of like with you with Azula, I was like, shit, yeah, let's go. Like,
Right.
like I'm seeing it, right, just from context clues. But yeah, The Boys season 2 on Amazon Prime. Pretty good.
When you said like you see some like every episode you see something horrifying,
Yeah.
I feel like a good example is like it's like every episode of The Boys you see like a brand new Mortal Kombat fatality.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Oh
Like,
my God.
I was like, oh my Jesus. And
He
there
just
wasn't,
ripped that man's face off, slapped him with it, and then broke his body in half.
you're not too off. You're not far off. There is one action sequence that's like a chase at the end of I want to say it's the 3rd episode that I thought was just as good, maybe not just as good, but it was close to like Game of Thrones, like maybe not Marvel level in terms of special effects, but there's this great chase scene that goes like these two heroes, or this villain is chasing these people who have powers up like this apartment building, and there's like great shots from like on the outside, and people like fucking like I mean, it looks great, and it looks like movie level, and like at the end I was like, holy shit, like that was like real action, which is something that I don't think would have been possible like 10 years ago.
Right. Every time you see like, you know what a good example is? Fucking any of those fucking Warner Brothers like TV shows, like those
The CW ones.
yeah, those get like a little iffy on some action sequences, like early ones at least. Like I'm sure now, like the industry is just caught up a little bit, but some of the early ones are a little rough.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the Supergirl ones.
Yeah.
They look
Those are
rough.
terrible, bro. and I
then-
feel like Green Arrows are okay because I feel like everything's kind of grounded with Green Arrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you can do low budget Batman, right? Because realistically, he's just a guy with like gadgets and like martial arts.
It's like
But I
the
don't-
Daredevil.
But I don't.
like
Yeah,
Netflix.
you can do low budget like Punisher, low budget Daredevil. I don't think you can do low budget like Superman or Supergirl. You know what I mean? Like there's too much extra shit going on. Like the scope of all the destruction and power has to be too large, and it just kind of falls apart.
Yeah, and that was my worry watching, or before I started the show, I was like, well, like, they have like a ninja one, right? They have like a ninja one, and they have like an Aquaman one, which is like sort of a bit easier, like a Wonder Woman one. But then when they had like the Superman one, the evil Superman one, Homelander, you go, like, I hope they can pull it off, because it's like it's evil. He's evil, but he has Superman powers, right? So you go like, I hope it doesn't. The budget doesn't go too crazy, but
Right.
but yeah.
When you said it was like Game of Thrones level, I was in my head. I was like, oh, so it's like pitch black and you can't see anything.
I mean, it is pretty gray. That was the thing, is that it's interesting that they I mean, very clearly have chosen the Zack Snyder like
The
visual
snack cider.
language.
Um,
Like if you watch like Batman versus Superman or Man of Steel, it's like this exact look to it, and I think it's on purpose. I think it's pretty much like, oh, that's you want to see violent and gritty. Here's your violent and gritty. Like you
right,
want to make Superman a murderous asshole in your universe. This is what he would really be like.
right.
Um, so I do
This
think
is
it's a
the thing.
conscious effort.
This is the things are bleak and down to earth like color palette.
Yes, and it's so interesting because I think they do that for two reasons. I think one, of course, to make fun of Zack Snyder and that sort of gritty, dark, murderverse, like universe shit.
Right.
But then I also think the costumes. I think I think when you, as a viewer, do not have a history of seeing someone dressed up like Batman or dressed up like Superman, if you see them in those costumes and the costumes aren't like $100 million, $200 million movie budget
They
costumes,
look like shit.
they look a little cheap. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I noticed that because in one of the scenes they're interviewing Homelander, who's the Superman equivalent, and Maeve, who is the Wonder Woman equivalent.
Okay.
And they are on like Maria Menounos or some fucking talk show. And the way the show does is that it like shows, like a close up, and it's like in the color palette of the show. It's like the visual style of the show. And then it cuts to like what it would look like on TV. And it's like on TV, it like sort of cuts to that, and it's like bright, and it looks sort of like what you would look like if you turned on a daytime talk show. And it
Right.
looks so bright, and the costumes look bordering on cheap. So I was like, damn, so that's why. Because if you color down the grade, it looks serious. But I'm sure if you saw them in like on a set or like daytime or whatever, Homelander, I'm sure is like 6 foot, and then he's got this bright red, white, and blue outfit, right? Which is right, but
Yeah, it would look like it would look like what we talked about with the first Avengers movie, where Captain America's wearing that outfit. And you're like, it's pretty shitty, other than the fact that it's Captain America. But
right,
like,
yes,
this doesn't
exactly.
have the benefit of being a guy that already existed, so it just kind of looks like shit.
It kind of looks like shit. It looks like the fucking the Rainn Wilson movie where he plays a superhero, Super, where he's got the red hood and he's beating assholes up with a wrench. It's like okay, so I think that's why the palette is so dark. I think it's to sort of
Serves
cover
two
up any sort of
purposes.
budgetary inadequacies, but then also so that it makes fun of Zack Snyder's fucking annoying visual style.
Right. Yeah, I've wanted to watch that before, but like I don't have Amazon Prime, so I don't know
Mm,
when I'll ever watch it.
yeah,
But
I
if
will say if
go
you
ahead.
start buying stuff on Amazon, or if you like end up needing to buy stuff more often on Amazon, I think Prime is totally worth it. Both for the shows and just like getting your shit quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a short period of time where I had like lined up like 3 or 4 things I needed to order on Amazon. I was like, let me hit that 7 day trial right now, or the 1 month trial. I was like, bang, bang, bang. So like ordered everything I needed, and then my
Mhm.
my my cart was fucking empty. Um, but yeah, so definitely want to check the boys.
Mhm.
But going from that, going from what we've been watching, and in my case, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Let's talk about some quick movie news.
Yes.
Um, James Cameron says Avatar 2 is done and 3 is almost complete.
Yes. I should know. I should know. Two is done filming. So like
Yeah,
when they
sorry.
have motherfuckers in suits, that's what's done. And then three is almost done as
Nobody's
well.
in body paint right now or
No.
green screen.
Yeah. So have we talked about Avatar on here before? Have you seen it? I don't know. I
I
can't
have
remember.
not, and
I
I have literally never had the urge to watch that movie.
yeah. Like I watched it. I think a couple times in theater, and I've seen it maybe once since. But it was the biggest movie of all time, both domestically and internationally for like fucking years. I mean, I think
Right.
just last year, Endgame finally passed it worldwide. Um, but it's great. I mean, it's pretty good for what it's doing. It's like not a A plus movie, but I'll say like maybe it's like a B plus, A minus.
Right.
And I think it still looks fucking great. It was awesome watching it the first time. Um,
I think it got like I think the one of the reasons it had to like it did so well as it did is I think it was a again I haven't seen it, so I'm just fucking speaking from literally nothing. But like I feel like it was probably a pretty good movie on its own, but like also along with that was like the like a guy catching like the newest technology and using it to its like fullest potential almost immediately. So it like I feel like I remember everyone saying like even at the time they were like visually this is insane compared to anything you've seen. Like visually,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like it does so much more than anything you've seen at the time, and I'm sure that gap has closed some now just because technology has advanced. But I'm sure the gap was huge when it came out.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean it was and like I I think it's like I said I think it still looks great and I think I'm so excited for this one for two reasons. For one, people always make the joke that it's like, "Oh, Avatar 2's coming out. Did anybody ask for this? Avatar 1, who remembers that one?" I'm like, "Well, like the characters aren't that memorable, but like people remember the story. They know that it was like some sort of environmental thing and
Right.
it's like aliens on a planet. Like there's not much to it." And then people are always like, "Oh, do you remember who it is?" And I'm like, "Well, John Wick is fucking huge. Do you remember anybody else's name besides John Wick? No. You go,
Right.
oh, it's the guy from Deadwood, and then the guy from Game of Thrones is in the first one,
And the
and I
lieutenant
think
from The
Halle
Wire.
Berry's in it. Like, right? Not everybody has to be fucking Iron Man in terms of brand name recognition.
Right. I will say
Um,
I did have that same reaction. I think for me though the issue was like I feel like the time gap was fucking huge. Like I remember at one point it might have been before and it had to have been before Endgame because I think it was like kind of as things were starting to get toward the end. Like I think we were getting towards the end of the Star Wars trilogy. Like maybe just after the second one to release. But like Disney put out like a release schedule or like the stuff that's in filming and it was like fucking like the Rise of Skywalker or it was like Star Wars like 3 or whatever, you know what I mean? And it
mm,
was like Star Wars like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I was like, holy shit, they're really fucking banking on that. And then it was like Marvel movie, Marvel movie, Marvel movie, Marvel movie, like
yeah,
like for like 4 years. But then I remember seeing like it was like Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5. I was like, it's been like it's been. When did Avatar 1 come out?
2009. So
I
it's
was
gonna
like, it's
be
at the time it had been like 9 years, and all
mm-hmm,
of a sudden you're just like, no, the second one, the third one, the
the
fourth one, the fifth one. I was like, what the fuck? Like, you have no idea.
yeah,
There's no precedent that shows you that the second one would be good.
yeah,
At least with Star Wars, I can be like, well, you had the original trilogy, and then a huge gap, and then the prequel trilogy, then another huge gap. You know what I mean? Like, people will come to see a Star Wars movie regardless,
mm-hmm,
and people will come to see a Marvel movie regardless, largely at this point. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. At this
But
point, it's like
like,
their own
like
brand.
all
Yeah.
of a sudden, it was just like Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5. I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, there's no idea. It's been 9 years, and nobody's constantly talking about Avatar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Like, I wonder how they came to it. Right. Um,
Right, like how did they decide? Like, all right, we our 10-year plan, the last 10 years only included one Avatar movie. Our 3-year plan now includes like
fucking three
four
more.
Avatar. Yeah, like what happened?
And so this is very interesting because I think this is a completely different way of doing. This is doing movies like TV shows. So
Right.
when you do season two, when you get an order for season two, you go okay, or like something like Breaking Bad. They had the idea, not concrete at all, but like a very vague, very fucking blurry version of what the whole show was going to be. But they didn't write it down. They just did season by season. So then when you do a season, you go all right. We got 12 episodes and we got this much story to tell, and then you chop it up and everybody writes their own part, everybody directs their own part, the actors go across it, right? You do it like as a season TV show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the same thing they're doing for this, where they're going, all right, we have the whole story from, we're not doing Avatar 2, shutting it down, turning it back on for Avatar 3, shutting it down, turning it back on for 4. They're doing all as one big mega production. I mean, what is it, 1, 2, 3, the 4 movies, they're all going to cost $1 billion altogether, which is actually kind of a bargain. And
Yeah, sounds it.
and then you just do all right. Well, we're doing on 2. These 2 writers will do 3. These other writers will do 4, and James Cameron will direct all of them, all as one big giant fucking what is that? 4 times 2, like 10 or 11 hour movie, mega movie, and then
Right.
you just chop it up. Um, so we'll see if that works. It's such a complete. I mean, this is like how we were talking about a couple weeks ago, where movies that do back to back, like John Wick and stuff. This is doing a movie back to back to back to back, and
Right.
it's never been done before. I mean, the closest is Lord of the Rings, and that was only 3.
Right, and what's nuts to me is that like again, like even Lord of the Rings, right, was three movies,
Hmm.
but like you knew Lord of the Rings was wildly popular.
And you knew
You know
what
what I
the
mean?
story was. The story was
Right,
known, right?
right. Everyone knew what the story was, and you knew that people were gonna come out in droves for it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It no one would have been like, all right, guys, we want to go ahead and just start and film, the first three Harry Potter movies all as one production. Some would be like, I don't know if that's going to be popular enough. You know what I mean? Like, no, everyone would be like, yes, everyone's showing up for all the Harry Potter movies. Fuck it. But like Avatar, like I said, it's been 9 years, and it's not like well, people I know, which is anecdotal evidence at best, but like, it's not like people have been like, I need Avatar 2 in my life. Like
Right.
right now, I'm
Yeah.
like fucking fiending for it.
I need that
Um,
Navi shit. Yeah, man.
I need that blue shit.
Yeah.
Nah, because if they wanted blue shit, they would have just watched Ozark. But, but like, it's just like that's a real fucking jump. You know what I mean? Like, I guess the idea is that like James Cameron's great. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
like, it's not going to be bad. But I just feel like, boy, this way. If you do this production and the fucking second one, like a lot of people come to see it, and then it doesn't get great reviews, you're gonna be in bad shape.
Yeah, because you're like, we're in this for fucking three more? Shit. I mean, and you're so right about the Harry Potter thing. Because, so Harry Potter 1 and 2, so if you watch Harry Potter, all of them, sort of in a row,
Hmm.
1 and 2 are directed by the same guy, Chris Columbus. And they both look the same. They look kind of like how I was saying earlier about the suits looking cheap because they're very brightly lit. You know,
Hmm.
everything looks very. He set the universe off on the right foot, but everything looks very brightly lit. It all looks very like cheap, not cheap looking, but very like okay, you can kind of see it sort of rubbing people the wrong way just because of the way it looks.
Right, and if nothing else, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like it's kids in robes. You know what I mean?
right.
Like a
Kids in
robe is
robes,
just.
and it all has the same aesthetic like for the first two, but then three, Alfonso Cuarón comes in, and dude, the fucking franchise does like a 90-degree angle, and the rest of the series looks more like what he does in three, and it looks great. And that one is still my favorite one because it looks great, and the things that where they put the world seems more real. It
Hmm.
seems like were in on actual fucking mountains and actual like fields and stuff instead of on sets, which is what 1 and 2 feels like.
Yeah.
So I feel like that, where it's like, imagine doing that. You know, imagine if, like you said, if they would have done Harry Potter 1, 2, 3, and then by the time you get to three, people are like, okay. I mean, like, is this it? Like, you're just gonna show me fucking brightly lit stages? Like, okay. I mean, right? Like,
Right, and at least with Harry Potter, even if that was the case, like the the backbone is still like one of the most wildly popular series of books. You know what I mean?
already,
Like,
yep.
right. So it's like people, even if it's not great, as long as it's not terrible, like the people that enjoy the books will still come watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so like your floor is way higher than I feel like it is with Avatar.
Hmm.
I feel like if you put out a bad Avatar 2, Avatar 3 is gonna be getting fucking crickets.
Yes. And at that point, like, what the fuck do you do? Like, if two is done filming and three's almost
That
complete,
$1 billion
you can't
bargain
change
starts to
anything.
look like a fucking real problem.
Yes. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. So, but I am excited for him. I mean, I'm honestly genuinely excited for them because for me, it's like you must have something there, right? Like you have the most talented visual effects artist in the world, and you're basically giving them a blank check to say, "Come, give me the fucking wildest, most insane shit you can think of, and make it look real, and we'll put it on film, and we're giving you $1 billion, blank check, dude. Put whatever comes to your mind in terms of sci-fi shit, and put it on film." And that's why I'm like, yes, let's go. Because if they
You
had
know
said
what?
James Cameron, we're giving you $100 million, make what you can of it, fucking do miniatures and shit, right? And I'd be like, I trust him to do like a good solid action movie, but I mean, this guy isn't like the guy that's doing Blumhouse Productions. I mean, he has the universe to make the fucking
Right.
everything in the universe to make whatever he wants, and he's doing four of them. I'm like, I'm on board.
You know what that reminded me of is that so there's a series of games called Metal Gear Solid,
Hmm.
um, made by Hideo Kojima, who's again like one of the like the most respected guy in the video game industry, probably. Like he might be number one in the video game industry in terms of just like how well he's respected amongst everybody else in the industry.
Probably him and
Um,
the Mario guy, right? I forget what his name is.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just like with
they're
an S.
probably yeah, they're I can't remember his name, but yeah, they're probably 1 and 2, legitimately.
Hmm.
And I heard a story from a guy who loves these games and like keeps up with it all the time, and I'm like pretty sure it's true. But so Hideo Kojima did all these Metal Gear Solid games for Konami, and his most recent game is Death Stranding for his own production company for PlayStation exclusive. So basically, what happened was that Hideo Kojima had this project, Metal Gear Solid. He did 1, 2, and 3, and then by the time he finished 3, he was like, "I'm starting to get a little tired of this. My vision's like I'm tired of making these games, but my vision isn't complete." So he makes Metal Gear Solid 4, which is that like is supposed to be the end of everything, and it does leave a lot of holes open, but they're not necessarily. It's not all like plot holes. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's not like there's no possible answer. It was just like you didn't get the answer, and one way I've heard those games described is that it's like 90% like political government like espionage drama, you know what I mean, that kind of thing, and then like 10% magic. Like there's some weird shit. Like there's a dude on fire. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like you get these little elements of like supernatural that randomly just kind of occur, and,
Hmm.
and it and it almost fits because like realistically, like how ridiculous is a Splinter Cell game? Like it's one agent that has taken down like three governments and like gone rogue and taken. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, like was it
that's
Sam
ridiculous.
Fisher, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like some of like Metal Gear Solid, like you get like you get these supernatural elements of a dude who like can mind control people and like another guy who's like a guy on fire on a horse. You know what I mean? So it's like 90% like all this political and then like 10% magic. So like realistically for those plot holes that you didn't get the answers to, you could have just been like, it's 10% magic and 90% political government, like you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so he was done with it. And then Konami was like, this makes too much money and there's still plenty of story to be told. We need you to make another one. And so Hideo Kojima, sticking to his guns, is like, I don't want to do this, but if I'm going to do it, it's going to be done right. And he's known for taking forever to put out games. And basically, what happened is that Konami was like, look, you're good, but like, you're fucking up. Like, this is taking forever. It's taking the most ignorant amount of money. Like, all this, like, you need to put something out. And he's like, I'm not putting it out half assed. And they're like, bro, we need you to put something out right now. Um, he when you said like James Cameron like with $1 billion budget just do whatever he wants,
Yeah.
Hideo
Yeah.
Kojima. So you know a mocap suit, right? For like a
Yes.
human, it's got
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
bunch of little dots on it, so that way you can mimic actual movements. Hideo Kojima mocapped a horse, bro. He put a mocap suit on a fucking horse to get like all the proper movements of the horse, and it's like that's one of those things that's like at some point like you have to draw a line. Like my man paid and it was so expensive because they had to design a fucking mocap suit
You can have
to
a
put on a
leotard for a
horse,
horse and
and then like put the dots in the right spots to like mimic like a muscular structure.
And
So
he's
you
like,
can
we
figure
have
this.
footage of horses running for like 100 years.
He was
They
like, I
were
want the
literally
suit, dog.
after humans, they were literally the next thing that was photographed and filmed.
He was like, nah, I need the mocap suit. So he fucking mocapped a horse. And I was like, that's the most over the top shit I could ever imagine.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, they were looking at the budget sheet for that game. And they're like, okay, this many hours, this many. What the fuck is this? And he was like,
100,000.
he's like, I had to mocap a horse. He's like, dog, you couldn't have just. There have been horses in millions of video games. You couldn't just wing it. Like, he was like,
$1,000 for a poop scooper.
yes, because they had the fucking real time. Like, my man went and detailed like the horse shitting. You know what I mean? Like that's a thing in Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, dude. I remember watching like a making of for Game of Thrones for one of their battle episodes, and they were talking about the logistics. They were like, yeah, we had to build like a small like town shaped community just for the horses to go and poop because there were so many horses and so much
Jesus.
horse shit. So it's like that. It's like he's like, yeah, we got to make sure to think about every single aspect of the horse.
Right. We have
Yeah.
to build a suit. We can make it strong. like my man made the Iron Man suit for the horse. But yeah, no, that was just like, and clearly like they're on the outs. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
not a good relationship between those two, and I guarantee at some point that fucking like horse mocap suit was the final straw. Someone was like, they were like, look, you're costing us a lot of money. We understand you got like all these, you want to make sure it's done right, but we really need you to put something out or speed up the process. And then like a week later, they were like, what the fuck? Why is there
He's
a
fucking
bill
up my
on
video
his-
game. What the fuck?
Cut that shit the fuck
Get
off.
this shit the fuck off. Yeah, but yeah,
Ugh.
I know what you mean, and I think so. I'm usually hesitant when people are given blank checks, especially fuckers who think that they're like auteurs, which I guess Hideo Kojima is a little bit like that because then he ends up
Oh,
spending
absolutely.
so much time, and you're like, it almost borders on like incomprehensible.
Right,
And
but to Hideo Kojima's credit, it's like all of them were critically acclaimed, Game of the Year, super well
yeah,
received. So
and that's what
the
I was
thing.
gonna say. Yeah.
But then he makes Death Stranding, and everyone's like, I don't know, like, and now
Yeah.
it's like, all right, well, here we go. Like now it's gonna get shaky.
Because that's what I was gonna say is that the last two movies that James Cameron has made, both of them were being fucking torn apart before they ever even came out. People were like, "They're gonna bomb. They're gonna be fucking terrible. They're gonna be."
What were
pieces
the
of
last two
shit.
movies?
Well, it was Titanic and Avatar, both
Oh,
of
okay.
which ended up being the biggest movies of all time when they came out. Fucking
Right.
Avatar won 11 Oscars. I think. Oh no, not Avatar. Titanic won 11 Oscars. Avatar won like at least I think 4 or 5. Biggest movies ever. I mean, I think Titanic did have a bigger cultural impact, to this day. But that's like it's kind of like that, where it's like you go like I don't know, James Cameron gonna give him that much money, but then you go, hey, I mean, look at the last two, and it's like that. It's like Hideo Kojima. It's like we're gonna give him all this money and shit to do all these weird video games, and it's like, well, look at the Metal Gear Solid series.
Holy
And
shit! So I'm looking at James Cameron like list of movies. That man has some hits.
Exactly, he's got like 8. I think it's like 8 or 9 movies total. Like if we go backwards, it's like Avatar, Titanic, True Lies, Terminator 2. I think he did The Abyss,
He did
Aliens.
the first Terminator, maybe.
The first Terminator, Aliens.
Yeah, The Abyss. He did. He's Alita Battle Angel is on here.
Yeah, I
Which
think he produced it.
I've
I think.
actually heard that movie's great, but I cannot get past the main girl's eyes in the
eyes
trailer.
of-
I was like, I can't.
I do think you eventually do get used to it, and you sort of take her not as a real person, but like as a like Davy Jones or like King Kong, like see like Gollum, where you're like, okay, like it's like your brain goes, it's a real person up to a point, but then the rest goes, oh, it's just like a cartoon character.
Right, and I think that fits to what the character is because she's like a robot, right?
Yes, yeah,
so,
yeah.
so I guess it works. It's just like it hits like the wrong part and like lands perfectly in the uncanny valley. You know what I mean? You're just like, nah, I don't like that. Like at least Gollum was enough of a monster. You know what I mean? Like he looked like gross, so you're like, nah, it all makes sense. Like I get it. Like he wasn't supposed to look like a regular person at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be like, ghoulish enough to be like, okay, like it's not a real person.
Right.
So what was I saying about James Cameron? Yeah, so I'm excited. We'll see how it goes. We have like I think like 2 more years before the next one even remotely comes out, and it seeing as how COVID's going, I'm sure it might even get pushed back into the year. So it'll end up being close to 15 years since the first one came out.
Yeah, you're putting a lot of money on something like that. I feel like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I get it, and obviously he's got the resume, but just like, whew, like I would be trepidatious. Is that the word?
Mm-hmm.
I would be
think so, yeah.
trepidatious about like putting that much money on it. I mean, ultimately, if you were like, do you want to make this bet or not? I'd be like, yes, probably. But I definitely would feel uneasy about it. Like after I put the money down and until I saw it win, I'd be like, boy. Ugh.
Yes, and especially now that maybe fucking theaters might be dead by the time that the movie comes
Right?
out. So like,
I can really fuck up your fucking budgeting right there. Like,
yeah, James
like,
Cameron's like, I'm
I
gonna
swear to
save
God,
movie theaters.
This is like, I swear to God, $1 billion seemed right at the time. You don't understand.
Understand? Avatar, Avengers made $1 billion in the first weekend. We were riding high. We were flush with cash. We were closer to God than we've ever been.
Oh God. All right, so we've been on movies for a hot minute, but the quick other movie news: Moonlight director Barry Jenkins is doing Lion King 2.
I saw the news, dude. Literally, I saw this news and I was like, "What the fuck?
Right?
Like, what the shit?"
I've
'Cause
never
it's
seen Moonlight, but I was like, I don't see where these skill sets cross.
Exactly, dude. Moonlight is like, I mean, I like it. I've only seen it once. I really liked it. I thought it was great. But it's like, it's like an art house movie, right? Like it won Oscars, it won Best Picture. It's like an art house, like top shit, right?
Hmm.
And so then you go, hey, you go from making that and making another small drama called If Beale Street Could Talk, which was like another small drama,
Right.
fucking what did I say, indie movie, art house, to doing the Lion King 2, like the live action sequel to like a fucking just corporate machine movie, right?
Right. And also, the first one wasn't like everyone got done with the first one. They're like, eh.
Yeah, but like that was literally the collective reaction to the Lion King one. It was like, but then fucking, it was like, but here's $1 billion fucking dollars. And you go, okay, I mean, I guess. I'm interested. I would love to know like which side started this and why. Like, was
Right,
Barry
did my man
Jenkins
put in the resume? Like, he was like, check this out. I did these 2 movies. I could definitely do these CGI animals.
like, sir, we have a call from a Barry Jenkins. Like, what did he do? Oh, he said his movie won Best Picture 4 years ago. Like,
and they were like, sure.
Sure.
And then he showed up and they were like, so what were you on? You know what I mean? And then he was like, no, I did Moonlight. And he was like, fuck.
He's like, how did you find out about The Lion King 1? Were you on a plane? Were you in a tarmac stranded and there was nothing else to watch? Like, how did you... Because he must have watched it, right?
Right.
And so this is guy.
He had to have watched it and been like, "This is just the soulless fucking machine
bullshit
you know
movie,
I mean?
right?"
We
Like,
took this art of the first one. We took the art out of the first one and just made it look real and shitty. And then, like, he was like, "I think I can hop on board."
I got this. I got ideas for this, man. My mind is racing, thinking about all the soulless line faces I can animate. Dude, like, so I've seen interviews with this guy, and this is somebody who like he'll be like, yeah, this is just like this scene reminds me. I was inspired in the scene by Agnes Thornew's 1971 French art film When the Birds Cry, and it's like that kind of guy, like the guy who like has watched a fucking trillion movies. So this is a guy who's watched every movie like you could think of. He's got like, to make his movies, he sort of has an encyclopedic knowledge of everything.
Right. He's going to be like, this scene in Lion King 2 is inspired by the Terminator because it's just a soulless machine destroying all life around it.
What if it is, dude? What if it, like, the Lion King, he tricks Disney into giving him $200 million and all it is a critique about how you just see, like, you like the lions walking and then you see a guy with, like, a pencil-thin mustache come and strangle the baby lion. Be like, my name's Walt. Tell everybody what you've seen. Like, I mean, I'm on board because, like, it's kind of like how I used to think about Christian Bale and like when he joined the Terminator movie. I mean, I was fucking wrong, but I would be like, Christian Bale is in this, so there must be something there, right? Like, there must be some sort of thing that attracted him to him. Same thing with Ben Affleck. Whenever I see Ben Affleck. Well, fuck, now I was wrong about that one, too. I was going to say Ben Affleck when he became Batman, because I was like, he obviously became Batman because there must be some sort of story thing that he likes. But then I was wrong about that, so maybe I'm going to be right about this, too.
God. He's... God. He's going to be like, this particular scene was inspired by this heist movie, because... I didn't put any effort into this and walked out with boatloads of cash.
Dude, what if he makes it like super art house? Like, have you seen that that stock footage of the fucking of the fox that dies, and then you see all the bugs go, or the maggots go into it running, and like,
oh my god, no! What?
You know what I'm talking about?
It's
like a stock footage one. It's like a fox and it's dead, and then it's like a sped up footage, like super fast, and then you see it decompose. It gets like bloated and then it decomposes, and I'm like, what if it's just
starts with Simba just fucking dead, and
then you see like long panning shots of the sky that last like 2 or 3 minutes, and then it, like when the Earth started, and you see like fucking like super close ups of like germs and shit, and it's like this is the circle of life. Oh gosh,
I can't wait. Can't wait.
Can't wait. But, I mean, it'll come out in like 2027 at this point, but
right. So there's that. Jamie Foxx as Electro. Why? Why even? This is more of a why than the last one.
Did you? I mean, you know that he was the Electro in the shitty one, right? Like
yes.
the Amazing Super. So
Also, I don't. From what I read, he didn't do it any favors. It's not like he was only
No, he was
being held
fucking
back by the money.
terrible. He was terrible. He was like, oh, what did he say? It's god awful. He has this comb over, and then he's, oh my god, it's so terrible. Um,
He wasn't bad. Like the last thing I can remember him is Baby Driver, and he wasn't bad in it, but he wasn't like particularly great.
no.
Um, Jesus, like why did you do this?
And so I'm curious about this one. So Jamie Foxx is back as Electro, which is a character he played in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but he's back now in a different universe as the same character in Spider-Man 3, whatever, like Homecoming or Home Welcoming or whatever.
Right.
Um, and it makes no sense because did you watch Far From Home?
Yes.
So you know at the end, J.K. Simmons comes back as Jonah Jameson, right?
Yeah.
At the end, you go, "Oh my God, that's from the old universe. It's the same character." But then for this one, you're like, "Wait, it's an old character." But you're like, "Wait, but it's not that universe. It's a different universe."
Right,
So
and
like,
even if it wasn't like the old universe for like J.K. Simmons, that is just like a fun cameo to me. You know what I mean?
yes,
Like that.
yeah,
That was just like perfect casting the first time, so they just went with it again. You know what I mean?
yes, yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say that you're totally right. Yeah, it just fits perfect because there's nobody better.
Right, and so it's like fuck it, we'll just use them again. No one's gonna care. You know what I mean? Like, no one's gonna be like, well, actually, in the universe, like, no one gives a shit because it's just great. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, no one gets mad that Stan Lee showed up in every single movie. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, yes.
this would have been the same kind of thing. But then you brought back Jamie Foxx as Electro.
Right, because so you're totally right because James Bond does the same thing. When Pierce Brosnan was James Bond, Judi Dench was M, right, like the boss at MI6.
Right.
And then when the Daniel Craig ones happened, they just brought her back because she was great, and nobody gave a fuck because she was great, right?
Right.
And so it's the same thing here. Nobody gave a fuck that J.K. Simmons came back because he was great, but then
You
Jamie
brought back
Foxx
this trash guy.
is literally a shitty reason or a reason that fucking Amazing Spider-Man 2 sucks.
I just don't get it. Like, what? I want to know who was behind that decision. Like, who was the guy that was like, what about Jamie Foxx? And then everyone else was like, yeah, no, that sounds great. Like, the fuck
sir.
you
Nobody wanted to be like, sir, he was already a hero. They were just like, Kevin Feige's assistant's probably doing call like, yeah, man, bring back Jamie Foxx, man. It's gonna be crazy, man. I mean, this pretty much
or Kevin Feige, as I called him.
I mean, this pretty much confirms that there is a multiverse coming.
Right.
Pretty much, right? Like, it's gonna be a matter of time before they go. Tobey Maguire's back, and then eventually Andrew Garfield's back. So
I don't know. I don't know that they can, but I just want them to somehow fit into the Spider Verse in there somehow.
dude, I didn't even like the Andrew Garfield ones that much. But if like Spider-Man lands, he does like the 3-point land, and then 2 more Spider-Man land next to him, and it's fucking Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. I'll be like, oh my god! It'll be like Endgame ending level shit. I'll lose my mind.
Oh god! All right. So then, and then speaking of James Bond, right? No Time to Die pushed to April.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. So they pushed it again. They pushed
which is the correct decision.
Yes, yeah. I mean, like, it sucks because theaters are closing and stuff, but like Tenant's not doing any money to be like it's worth keeping open. So it's not worth just putting out this sort of like straggling corpse like release. Yeah. So they pushed it to next April. Who the fuck knows what it'll be like then? Honestly, it might get pushed again. I mean, I think I've said this on here before, but the man who ends up looking the smartest is Vin Diesel. I mean, I know it wasn't Vin Diesel's call, but Vin Diesel, because when the shit started in Fast 9, they were literally like, "Nope, next year." Oh yeah, we talked about it last week. You're like, "Nope, nope, we're pushing it. Nope,
hard pass,
hard pass. We're just skipping 2020 altogether." So yeah, next April. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, at this point, I don't see any other movies coming out in theaters. They'll push. I think the only big one that's left is Dune, or maybe Wonder Woman. I think Dune and Wonder Woman, both of them are Warner Brothers. Right. Those are the only ones. I saw a tweet today that somebody was like, I don't understand why theaters didn't just go, or not theaters, all the movie chains, movie studios came together and were like, all right, here's what we're doing. we're pushing everything back until December 25th, like as a form, like as a fucking group,
Right.
and then give movie chains money to like as a subsidy until now, just so that they can live. I don't understand this sort of patchwork thing where like some studios get it and they're like, all right, like Universal's like, fuck it, we're out of here. See y'all in 2021. And Warner Brothers is like, let's keep trying. Let's do Tenet. Let's do Dune. Like we'll do like Wonder Woman maybe. Let's like push Wonder Woman 2 weeks. Maybe in 2 weeks it'll be better.
Right.
It's just dumb and it sends a weird messaging that like, okay, so our movie's in trouble, or wait, are our movies okay? Because like Universal's pushing them, but Warner Brothers isn't. So like, what's going on?
Right. Yeah, it's just a very odd thing, but yeah. I mean, realistically, everything should just be pushed back. Like that's, and it's not like a fun. You know what I mean? Nobody like I would love for a movie to be out, but like realistically, it should just push it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the rest of the.
I mean,
industry as a whole.
Yeah, video on demand is not really an option for these big movies because like
Right.
Mulan, like I think any other movie, like if like I don't know, I'm trying to think of a horror movie that was gonna come out. I don't know, I can't think of one. But like if a generic movie came out and it did Mulan's business, it's like sweet, that's awesome, that's very good VOD business. But when you're fucking $150-200 million movie, it's not really the money that you're looking for, right?
Right.
And then Tenet comes out and it doesn't do video on demand, it does theaters, and even then it's like making like $8 million at the box office per week. So it's like we can't like this model. Either one isn't working right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Let's see. So we were gonna talk about Microsoft buying Bethesda, but I want to push that one back. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. We have like 5 minutes left, and we can talk about one of the major leagues ended their season, and nobody gave a damn.
Right, and that was NHL because no one ever gives a damn. And I understand there may be one or two people listening to this podcast that like hockey, and I'm here to tell you that you're in the fucking minority. No one gives a shit.
And the thing
I don't know what to tell you.
I literally, like, you know, they're going, like, the NBA is going through the bubble as we're recording this. And so I was like, oh, I wonder I wonder how their bubble's going. I mean, I'm sure the playoffs have started in theirs. And then I checked Twitter and it was like, the Lightning have won the Stanley Cup. I think the Dallas Stars. And I was like, oh, that was going on? Oh.
Yeah, and apparently it went off without a hitch. I think they just separated into two different bubble cities. I think there was one that was, like, somewhere Canada, and I don't remember where the other one was. But
I think it was like Canada and maybe like Western U.S. I think.
Right, and they just separated into two separate bubbles, and then had the finals. I imagine they met up and played in one of the bubbles. But I don't know because I don't keep up with it because nobody watches hockey. But you know what I did see? I did see two players from the fucking Tampa Bay Lightning in public letting people drink out of the Stanley Cup.
Oh my god, I saw that. I was like,
personal
wow,
responsibility.
Dude, it's like y'all make this whole bubble and it works, and you guys are fucking set. And I guess they were like kids who got let out for summer. They're like, we know more rules. Nobody gives a fuck. No more testing every other day. I mean, it sucks because their bubble, kind of like the NBA's, went out pretty much without a hitch. Right. And they were like a perfect example of what the NFL should have done. And now you got shit like flare-ups in the NFL and games getting pushed to like weeks and bye weeks and shit. And it's like,
which is fine because the Cowboys are ass cheeks. So
fucking trash.
If this season just dissipates into thin air, I'd be like,
I'm like, that's fine. Peace. I'm okay. Week 6 is over, and I'm like, well, I guess we all made the playoffs, huh? Yeah. It's kind of, I mean, earlier this year, I mean, you know, Carolina wasn't going to make the tournament. So then, you know, the tournament gets canceled, and I'm like, wow, I guess, you know, we all made the tournament. I guess Carolina's streak of making the tournament is still intact since technically nobody was selected. So if nobody was selected, nobody was not selected. So
so there we go. Everything's fine.
It's intact. 10 years in a row, baby.
Nailed it.
And so, but yeah, I mean, I think next year, I think the NBA and the NHL, this is what they're going to have to do. I don't think it'll be fixed in time for the next season to start. Although, when would the next hockey season start? Because theirs doesn't. I guess theirs does run with NBA. So I guess they would start at the end of this year, maybe Christmas time.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I was them, I would just start like January 1st. I'd be like, New Year's Day, we're starting the new season. We got, I don't know how many teams. Are there 30 or 30? I really don't know.
Fucking clue, bro.
We're giving you 15 or 16 games. on New Year's Day, or it might actually be 2012. Do they have 2014?
I don't know.
I don't know.
They could have 5. Like what happens with the 5th team? Like we don't know.
You don't know, dude.
It's a round robin format.
It's a round robin.
Winners stay on the ice.
Dude, hire me, NHL commissioner, whatever your name is. Dude, like, that's a great idea, though, don't you think? Like, you start January 1st, you go, new season, January 1st, New Year's Day, it's the coldest day of the year, we're giving you hockey all day, right? Like, that's it. Like, that's what you do, and then you do it all in fucking bubbles.
Yeah, and then no one will still watch because no one gives a
Well, I did my job scheduling, right? People don't want to watch...
I like it. Guy, you were like, hire me because I have the best publicity, like, for your thing. No one watches. Like, that's not my fault.
It's like in The Dark Knight, you know, when Scarecrow comes out and he's like, I told you that my compounds would take you places. I just didn't tell you there would be places you would want to go. Like, you know, I told you my schedule would give people games. I didn't tell you people would actually want to fucking watch the games. Like,
oh, God. Whew, boy, the NHL. That sucks. You know what's funny is out of all the sports I've watched live, hockey is by far the best to watch live.
Especially, dude, when it's like an overtime and like it's a sudden death one.
Right.
You're just like, oh my God. You're like, literally every time you're like on pins and needles, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what I don't watch on TV? Hockey. You know, I've never cared about other than in person. Hockey. Oh, boy. Oh, God. They really did everything right. And just fucking like everyone, you look to see when it would start, and they're like, it's over.
Damn, I missed him.
You missed the whole season. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. But yeah, so, you know, hopefully the NFL season goes up in flames. The Lakers are going to win the championship because as of now, Bam and Dragic are not playing in Game 3. So that means the Lakers are going to be up 3-0, which means this shit's a fucking straight into the trash can. Lakers win the title. And if this comes back to bite me, it won't. So feel pretty confident on that one. But yeah, and you know what's weird? Why did MLB work and NFL didn't?
I really don't. I mean, I think maybe right now in the NFL they're doing, it's like their first little outbreak, which is sort of what happened with the MLB. And I think you need something like this to sort of scare people straight. Mm-hmm. Like maybe people were like, oh, it's not that bad, or they're like, oh, whatever, I don't have to wear this mask all the time. But I think now going forward, I think the NFL is like gonna be like memo, right? Like, mask, distance. So I think
maybe it'll clean up after this big
I think
wave
it'll clean up sort of like the MLB cleaned up. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was the episode, guys. If you want to catch me on social media, you can catch me at TMoneybags on both Instagram and Twitter.
And I'm at EverCastro92 on Instagram.
And if you want to catch the podcast directly, you can catch it at DiffAnimalsPod on Twitter and Instagram, or you can email us directly at differentanimalspodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
All right. And stay safe, stay entertained, and we'll catch y'all next week.
All right. See you guys. Peace.
Oh.
Yeah?
In honor of us talking about Jamie Foxx coming back as Electra, and also James Cameron getting that blank check. She'd take my money. Because I'll tell you what, Jamie Foxx took that fucking check for Electro, man. They were like, you want to come back? He was like, why the fuck wouldn't I?
How many millions? Okay. Yeah. Who's backing me now? Walt Disney? I'm there.